Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today, if you don't mind, I'd like to continue on with our discussions of 1970s disaster movies. And I'd like to focus our attention, if I may, and if you don't mind, on a film which is from 1978. And this is from director David Green and producer Walter Mirisch. And it has a really great cast, included in which are, for example, Charlton Heston, David Carradine, Ronny Cox, Stacy Keach, Ned Beatty, Christopher Reeve, and others. This is a film which is about a damaged submarine and the people who are trapped inside the submarine, and how it's up to the Navy rescue forces to try to find the downed submarine and hopefully make it in time to save the people trapped in the depths below. And it is this film which is called Grey Lady Down. Grey Lady Down. This is, as I was indicating, a film which is about a disaster on board a damaged submarine, which is far below the surface, in the depths of the water. And so it's up to Navy forces to hopefully find the submarine in time before the air runs out, or before the submarine falls to the depths, never to be seen again, or succumbs to some other type of potential disaster. And in that way, therefore, we have a story which perhaps can be focusing on, or could be said to be focusing on, two parallel planes of story. So first is the story within the submarine itself, the people that are trapped there, and among them are the characters played by Charlton Heston and Ronny Cox. And then we have the storyline which is, say, above water, or on the surface, or part of the rescue operations. And this is the story that involves the characters played by Christopher Reeve and Stacy Keach and David Carradine and Ned Beatty. And it is their rescue operation involving a submersible, and David Carradine's character in particular, trying to locate this submarine, and then hopefully initiate the necessary actions that will be necessary in order to not just save the submarine from impending doom, but also save the people who are trapped inside. So there are these two planes of storytelling that are going on at once. And in this manner, therefore, this film could be said to be, of course, a disaster film, because it does involve this naval accident of sorts, or a disaster at sea, and people who are trapped in claustrophobic settings with the threat of the water pressure breaking down barriers or walls or structures, or other sorts of threats, as well as the drama and tension that exists among the characters. We have people who are in enclosed settings, or in situations of great stress and tension. And so a lot of the tensions among the characters themselves come out. So we have not just the rescue implementation story, but we also have the various human drama stories between and among these particular officers, or these particular crew members, etc. So I think that dynamic of ever-shifting, let's say, balances, as well as the stress of the situation, as well as the impending threat of various angles of disaster, as well as the parallel structure of the story, I think make for a very interesting and engaging night at the movies, so to speak. What I also admire about this film is we have a film that is not afraid to show people, say, waiting around. There is a lot of waiting. There is a lot of time passing that's shown. But we never lose sight, I think, of the fact that there is still some kind of time pressure or a race against the clock type of element. So there's this interesting divide between showing how time is progressing very slowly on the one hand, but never forgetting the fact that it is a race against time, and time is of the essence, which makes the rescue operation effort even more important and valuable and significant and essential. Speaking of that too, what's interesting is that the rescue operation implementation plan that we see enacted involving, as I say, essentially a little submersible trying to maneuver through the darkness of the deep depths of the ocean in order to try to find this damaged submarine. And so what I like about the film too is it shows us the various trial and error aspects. We see many trips down. It's not just one continuous voyage of this rescue submersible, but we see attempts to go down submerged but then come back up. We see other sources of tension involving who's going to be who's going to be inside this particular vehicle. And this type of, say, trial and error, or showing us the fact that these people on this rescue operation don't always succeed all the time. So there is a lot of trying to maybe work out a few things, solve some problems, try to deal with failure on the one hand, but still trying to make way for what hopefully will be some kind of eventual success. And so I like this type of working out of things. It is a type of process film in that way, in terms of showing us the operational details of the rescue mission, while again showing us some of the human drama that can exist among these particular say, members of the Navy or the rescue operations. And also I should say that this film does not shy away from the sense of the unknown and the real sense of total, say, helplessness when one is dealing in enclosed spaces in the very depths of the ocean and the waters. And I like this because there's the sense of the darkness of the depths and the real threat that this all-encompassing sea depth can pose, as well as the claustrophobia that is ever present when we're dealing with these enclosed spaces and cramped quarters, and trying to maneuver and trying to deal with heavy weights and the flow of tides, etc., when time is running out, and when one false move could mean the end of the submarine and its crew. So this type of, say, focusing in on the detail and the cramped spaces and the shortness of breath, I think this adds to another sense of the suspense and tension that is part of, say, the procedural aspect and the waiting aspect that is also at play in this disaster film or rescue mission operation film. That is not to say that we don't get our sense of, say, action set pieces, because there are a number of sequences that involve various stunts, various instances of danger, and the underwater work in terms of showing us the various ships underwater, and the excitement that ensues, because there's a lot of very significant sequences that occur underwater, and those are, I think, presented very well. So there are some action set pieces, but there are also a lot of quiet moments as well, which I think help the film. Perhaps to some, maybe it might be an indication of what might be deemed, but in some critical circles, to be maybe an uneven film. Maybe to some it might seem a little bit slow, or it might seem a little bit to be less focused on, say, the action disaster element and more on the waiting or the procedural aspect of the rescue. And if you feel that way, I think that's totally fine. But another way to look at it is this is, say, a different angle or different aspect of a disaster film set on the high seas. In other words, it is a film that is focusing in on the rescue mission, as well as other aspects, but it is focusing on the rescue mission. And I think in that way, it is very fair and reasonable to get a glimpse at how people might not work together well at first, but then they have to work together in order to achieve a joint solution. And they have to risk certain things. They have to risk failure. They have to admit defeat when it happens. But then when they meet success, it becomes this really triumphant thing. Of course, though, success is only measured by whether or not you can achieve it in time. And as I said earlier, one of the things that's great about this in terms of the establishment of suspense is that we never lose track of the fact that we are racing against the clock. So I like how this film seems to balance those out. It has a different pace perhaps than maybe other disaster films of this era, but as I say, and in conclusion, I think that's one of its strengths, because it could be one of the ways in which we can see this film as setting itself apart from, say, other films from the same period, but it's still giving us a sense of action and thrill and strategy and human drama, and a very compelling story that is told, I think, in an interesting manner. This is the film which is called Grey Lady Down. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now, and so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great, great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time. I very much appreciate it. Stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.